Immortal John Hancock here, and today I'd like to talk about maintaining a large game collection. This is my own reflection, and maybe it's a conversation that you would like to think about with your own collection. I'm just going to talk about what I've gone through in the last 25 years amassing a large game collection. Now, I have the sole purpose of opening a video game museum. And with that, there's challenges. There's challenges to amassing a lot of games, and the first one is space. This stuff takes a ton of space, and it started out in my closet, and then when I lived in an apartment with my wife, it took up an entire room, and then it went from that. When we got a house, I moved my games into a garage and converted the garage, and 15 years ago I still had space, and that quickly ended, and now I have a collection that is half in boxes. And so that really drives me to move forward to do something with my collection. For me personally, I don't like to have it just in boxes. That's not why I was collecting. Collecting something and putting it in boxes for me is not what I want to do. And so it's definitely having to move stuff around and not damage it. It's really tough. I've organized my game room the best I can, and I have it in a place now. If you've seen my live streams, you've seen me kind of talk and walk around in my new clean game room. It's a challenge. Space is a huge issue. I'm always dealing with it, and I'm kind of at capacity. No matter how clean and organized I do my garage now, I'm close to out of space, and so that's always a challenge. All right, time. So cleaning my game room, it took a good 50 hours. And so my game room was with things coming in and organizing it in and out. It's taken a lot of time to organize it. Now, the honest truth is that I let a lot of time go without keeping up on it. And so you have to keep things organized. You have to spend time in keeping it. I have things spined out that take up the minimum amount of space as possible. I had to take my Super Nintendo collection down because I had shelving there. I put my Super Nintendo loose carts in bins. That was challenging too because I'd like to have it displayed, but it's easier to access and more accessible there. And that takes time though. All this takes time, and in organizing it took almost a full week of my time off in the summer. I couldn't do this during the school year. I had to wait till the summertime, and I'm really glad on where my game room is now. It's just kind of like a weight off my shoulders a little bit that it's not messy and there's not things on the ground. It's clean, and yeah, it feels great. And I can actually utilize my game room more now. It's a great feeling, but that took a lot of time. My wife made a lot of sacrifices watching the kids while I spent time in here organizing. I had some visitors from out of town come in. You might have seen one of them on my video, this last video I did. And so, yeah, so it was great. So it was great. It was nice to present a clean game room. Yeah, going back to organization really, for me, it's important to have your game room organized, and the challenges with that because you can lose things. And so there's many times I lost an item, and I knew it was in here. I didn't stress about it, but I literally had to go through every box a couple times to find something, only to find it when I wasn't stressed or looking for it. I lost my PSP, like my games and my console, and I knew it was in a box, but of course it was in the back of my game room when it wasn't organized, and I couldn't play my PSP. I was bummed out. I wanted to play some games on it, and I couldn't. And so finally found it though. So again, organizing your game room, there's many times buying doubles. Again, there's times I've bought doubles when I forgot that I had a game. And so having a checklist, having a list of things that you're looking for is always good to have. I struggle with that sometimes because people ask me kind of what am I missing. I'm missing a ton of things, but I'm really kind of laser focused on a couple things because I focus on the things I have space for, the things that I want to pursue and collect. And the things I don't have room for, I'm not going to collect because I don't want it just to go into a box. And so there are some things moving forward though that I'm focused on. my Nintendo collection is going to be on public display at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and so I am focusing on those boxes because I have space for them, you know. But yeah, so that's just one of the many challenges that I go through. All right, balance, just with having a game collection such as this. I'm married. I'm happily married. I've been married 16 years, and you know, my wife is very understanding. And you know, I commit myself as a father first to my family. That comes first before my games, before my YouTube, before anything, is to be a father and to be a husband. And that's challenged sometimes, you know, challenge when, you know, my wife was super understanding when I told her I need a week to organize my game room, and I needed a full week, and she understood that, and she made that happen working with me. And that's a lot, you know. Kids need their dad, dinner time, talking to them. You know, my son's birthday's tomorrow, which actually will be the day this video is uploaded, and so, you know, I want to spend a full day with him, and you know, I'm that's priority. But you know, I'm a gamer too, and I want to game, and there's nothing wrong with gaming, but it's that balance, having that work-life balance, and it's really important to keep that. I can't tell you how many people I've known over the years that have divorced over video games, divorced over their collection, maybe just drifted apart. It's really tough. It can be really tough on a relationship, and it's just finding that balance, and it can be tough. You know, you have to find someone that understands you, and you have to commit time back to the relationship too. You know, if I gave nothing but my time to the games in here, I wouldn't have a healthy relationship. And it's a real challenge ongoing. And so my wife is just, you know, I'm so blessed to have her in my life, and she's so understanding. You know, I'm really thankful that she's in my life, and my kids, and you know, I get to share the games and the enjoyment I have with them, and they're cool with it. So all right, testing. Occasionally I pull something out and I do a does it still work kind of video on my channel, and I do that for multiple reasons. One, there's sometimes often years that go by before I don't test this stuff all the time. There's no way. I have hundreds of consoles, and so it's kind of fun to pull something out that you haven't talked about in a long time. I think I want to do an Atom computer video upcoming. It just takes some time, you know, pulling it out, seeing if it works or not, and I like to do that on camera. And so yeah, stuff like that. Testing can be really tough. I had a good friend, Rick Wise, who likes to test his cartridges every 10 years because eventually, you know, some of the stuff is going to fail on us, and including hardware. That's why I really am big on replacement hardware. I think that's great for the community, and it's good to see that there's replacement hardware still coming out for retro consoles, especially playing original software, because that's the biggest issue. Is a lot of these consoles and computers have components that weren't made to last 30, 40, 50 years, and so it eventually will die. And so it's important that these hardware systems get to the right people and are preserved. Not only that, but repaired and fixed and updated. It's important that these continue to live on, at least in a museum piece, to show what they look like. I got to show a guest yesterday a Bally Astrocade, and I hadn't tested my Bally Astrocade in many years, and I was nervous turning it on. It worked great, and I was really happy to see that. But they're notorious for not working right. So yep. And you know, failure, and so dealing with hardware failure, game failure. I did a live video, and one of my rarest carts, Outback Joey, it doesn't work. You know, the cart's dead, and I've tried to get it repaired, and it's just dead. And so that's just one of those things, dealing with that and being okay. Well, it doesn't work, and it's super expensive, and so it's not like I'm gonna get a replacement. And so it's just one of those things where sometimes you have to just be okay with things dying, and it's electronics, and it's going to go out, and you have a choice. You either pay the money to repair it, or just have something in a collection for display purposes and you know, I've had to make that choice on a couple things. Or, you know, getting a beater system that may not look the greatest, but you know it works. Recently, I'm having some issues with some Famicom disk systems, and so that's one that's notorious for having issues. And so, you know, dealing with that, you know, paying the money to get it repaired or just have it for display. So it's ongoing. It always happens, and that's with a large game collection, you'll have multiple things that need repair. And it's important to probably have some friends that either can fix it for you or can look at it, or you know, people that you can pay to repair it for you. It's no different. Well, it's a lot different than having an arcade machine, and because they're more simplified electronics, but they still go out. And so that's important to know. And that's just some of the things that I've had to deal with over the many years that I've been collecting. And hopefully it's just things that you can think about. Maybe this applies to your collection, maybe it doesn't. And but I enjoy having this game collection. I love video games. I love talking about video games. And I look forward to just continuing to take that passion and to share it with anybody that wants to listen. I want to thank everybody for continuing to tune in to my humble channel as it continues to grow. I'm trying new things. I'm doing some live streaming, and that's going to replace my Tuesday video. So we're going to do that. That's going to be good for me. And so I really appreciate that. So if you want to do some live chats, I'm going to have them a little bit more focused upcoming, but I'm going to still do some live chats, and we'll continue to do that, and we'll see how it goes. And I want to thank everybody for continuing to tune in. This is the Immortal John Hancock. Thank you, and you take care.